What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So as y'all know, instead of me probably going through the auction house and stuff like that or doing auction house videos, I have been playing through the game a bit, which is probably going to be fairly obvious because it's something you should do with not sitting in the auction house. But one thing I was noticing about playing Forza, guys, something I pretty much got super excited for was the fact that the game was going to have long races. Now, do keep in mind, though, this is going to be mainly the only long races that you get in the game itself, not the ones that players create. It's kind of insane that you're going to have multiple different options like the Gauntlet, the Titan, Goliath. You're also going to have the Colossus and Marathon. Those are all going to be very long races in the game, but that's not even going to include the event labs, which I haven't even touched yet. Definitely looking forward to trying out different ones in there. It's going to be really fun, whether it's off-road courses or even long races players did end up making. The thing is, though, going through and doing the long races in this game made me think about something. Why does Motorfest not have longer races in the game, man? Legit, such a perfect time for them to do it, even add newer and longer races into the game itself. I mean, heck, a lot of people were talking about this 10 months ago. I even made videos about it. After playing Forza Horizon 5, I keep going through doing like the Goliath again. I did the Marathon a few times. I went and did the Colossus, and I keep going back and forth and going back into these events. I'm having so much fun with them. You're not only going to get a lot of XP from it, you're also going to make a lot of money, like $150,000, $180,000 from them. And a lot of the races range anywhere from like 8 to maybe 20 minutes, with the longest race being the Gauntlet. At least that's what I did notice anyway. Even driving the Lamborghini Storado or something like the lifted Porsche or even like the Hoonigan RS200, that one always took around 18 to around 20 minutes to do. So I would say that's the longest event. And my goodness, it's going to be so dang fun, man. I'm sure everyone does know this about me, but I really do love off-roading stuff, rally, trophy trucks, off-roading trucks, and all that. I'm a huge fan of it. It's probably what I do in Forza Horizon 5 more than even driving street vehicles because I literally enjoy it that much. When I found out there was going to be a long dirt type of race, now there's also a cross-country, which is the Titan. Talk about that one here in a second. But the Gauntlet, though, is literally going to be a mix of road and also dirt roads. It is literally a long rally type of race. It's so dang entertaining. I went through it. I've probably done this race maybe 3 times. I kind of been finding myself doing it once or twice a day, going through the other long races, making extra money, XP and stuff, and it's so dang fun. But it really made me wonder, though, because I go back onto Motorfest to check a few things out on it, and I'm like, why do we not have any long races, man? That one Maui Expedition playlist we got added one long event to the game, which I think was a gigantic L. Made no sense to me how they could have had pretty much 4 or 5 races in there. Why didn't they do it? They could have had a long, let's say, rally raid race easily done because the islands are huge. Maui's going to be massive. So many empty areas in the game itself. I don't understand why they couldn't pick some random areas to go in and race around the entire island of Maui. Everything but roads could totally work for rally raid, like the long cross-country event, am I right? We're also then going to have something along the lines of rally itself, which we do know is going to be like dirt racing in Forza. Why was there no long rally races in the game? Man, I don't understand the thought process behind this stuff, man. There's so many empty dirt roads around Maui and everywhere. I mean, heck, you could even go around all of Maui, go over the highway into Oahu, do even more dirt roads there. There is so many of them, but yet none of it is being utilized in the best way possible. I really do not understand why they don't have more open races or bigger events like that. And the insane part is about Forza, though, is we're going to have the long race in the base game, then also players can make their own long races, bro. And the cool part is you can also get different XP and money and stuff like that and just different ways to play the game, which is probably going to be the biggest win there. I don't know why Motorfest is lacking so much in it. And you know what, though? There is something I did want to point out, though, which is going to be some context behind why I do love doing these events and why I think longer races in these games really should be a must, or, Motorfest really needs to get more of them in there because there's basically none of them, and definitely a huge lack of them as well. Probably is going to sound dumb, guys, but we're going to have something like dirt bikes in there. They can have longer motocross type of races. They can have longer plane events, longer boat races because, the entire map is water. I do know a lot of people are like, what's the point of doing a 20-minute boat race? Well, if the overall route of it's going to be pretty fun, you make a lot of money, maybe get extra parts and stuff, I feel like it could work. Longer events like that in the game really not being in there kind of makes me go, why is this not a thing? One of the things I was going to mention though in the context behind it, and one reason why I love doing the long race in Forza, is it brought me back to the crew too. That was something I pretty much did every single day on that game, guys. I logged on every single day and did 3 or 4 of the long hyper races, like the New York one. I did I think it was from Detroit to Miami or something, the Dallas all the way to the Keys. We had the San Francisco race as well. I did pretty much all of them, pretty much every single day for probably 7, 8, 9 months, pretty much getting on the game, going through the race, going, okay, these are done. Let me go do some other races. Now, on that game, though, you actually got rewarded for doing the longer races, and you really did get a lot more money and stuff like that, and it probably felt like it was well worth it compared to something like Motorfest where you do like a longer race, let's say the Maui Expedition. That is going to be pretty much the best race in the game right now for getting the most XP and money, at least a longer event, because it can be done in around 8 minutes. The annoying part, though, is adding a race like that into the game that's going to pay around 100 grand, which, mind you, again, that's about 8 minutes or so. The other race, the Liberty Walk one, that one's going to take around 11 plus minutes, depending on the vehicle you run, could be 13 minutes. And it's in ways going to pay less than that race, which guess what? That's going to make the other race useless. But on top of that, you can also find longer races going to these that players also created. For example, the Goliath does 1 lap around the entire map. You could find this with around 5, 6, 7 laps. You get more XP, more money and stuff, because that is going to allow players to really jump in there and make the races even longer, or at least, add on to them. That way, if you're like, okay, well, I want to do 5 laps of the Goliath in my favorite hypercar, guess what? You can do that, and you're also going to be rewarded for it. I really do not understand how Motorfest does not have longer races like this one, or at least have a design system. Then again, Motorfest does not have a player creator or race creator like the Crew 2 did, and if it did, it would not be something like Forza, but I wish it would get it, most likely toward the end of the life, which honestly doesn't make any sense, because a lot of players love the one in the Crew 2, so why doesn't Motorfest have it? And that's what's funny, though, is the game is going to be lacking in event variety in so many different areas, whether it's going to be longer races, dirt bikes having, or motocross in the game, dirt bikes, tomato, tomato, having more races, having rally, having more events. So why not give players the option to make the events or make them even better? That way you don't have to worry as much of putting more events in the game, because players can go in and modify said races like the Goliath and make something like that 5 laps, or make one of those races longer, make their own event longer. That way it's going to give players even more places to enjoy the game. It really does make me kind of question that stuff, man, because I've been playing Forza well over 2 months now. Again, since it came out, guys, I've been playing this game basically every day. I am having a great time in it, finally doing some of the longer events and getting to more content stuff in it, because I was kind of spending way too much time in the auction house, I admit that. But now I'm going to be in the game doing the events, and man, I'm having so much fun with it, going through these events, going, yo, the Goliath was pretty dope. I then go into the race creator thing, or the event labs. I said race creator because, the Crew 2. But I then checked in and went, oh, look, we're going to have a 5-lap version. I think there was even a 10 and something like that. And I even went on Instagram one time. I was scrolling, looking at Forza stuff. And there was one time, I think it took an hour to do it, bro. So there was going to be long race in the game if you really do want it. And I feel like that's something every single racing game really can benefit from. And jumping on a Motorfest, though, I'm looking for some longer events. And the only one we're going to have is like the Maui one, the Liberty Walk one since launch. Not really a big fan of that one, because we don't have actual long off-road type of races in the game, like for example the lovely Gauntlet or the Titan. I really do not understand how those aren't things in there. We could have a long race focused on racing cars or something. Long race focuses on hypercars, which we all do know a lot of players are probably going to do the Maui Expedition, the fastest class possible, which is going to be Alpha GP racing or hypercar. There's really no other reason to do it, because if you use a street tier 1 vehicle, they're going to be very slow. You're going to be there for a long time, so why even bother doing it? But at least on the Goliath or some of these other longer events, you can run different vehicles, different classes. You're probably going to make the races longer, obviously, or shorter. In that game, though, a lot of players are focused on getting the most money possible, because making money in the game is going to be kind of annoying. So I feel like they're going to use the fastest vehicles, and they're not going to want to bother with the slower ones. The thing is, though, I feel like, guys, having a bigger variety in those longer events, again, the Maui Expedition not having more long race in there is such a big L. I do not understand how they release a brand new quote-unquote playlist with one race in there, bro. They could have at least had maybe 4 or 5 long races in the game that could have all been focused on expedition types. You know what I'm saying? Like, have a few long rally races in the game. It's not like you don't have any dirt roads anywhere. They're pretty much empty ones literally everywhere in the game. So let's fill some of them in. Let's have some long races. Have a cool rally raid event that goes all over mountains, up and down like the volcanoes and stuff. There is so many ways to do it. Doing the Titan race in this game, guys, was so dang fun. I pretty much got like an entire tour of the entire map. It was so cool because I was going through different fields, over mountains, going through like watery type of areas. It was so dope because it kind of made you explore everything. Wouldn't a race in Motorfest like that be really cool? I guess at the end of the day, looking at these longer races kind of made me go, man, Motorfest really is missing this stuff. But that would only make the game even better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying this stuff to complain or any of that. I'm saying it that, yo, this would make the game even better and make more players go, man, these races are dope. I'm going to have an option of 4 or 5 long races because you obviously can't make your own versions of them. At least you're going to have those in there. And you know what the craziest part is, though, is part of me is starting to get to the point to where I'm like, you know what, we're probably never going to have these longer races in Motorfest. I mean, the game has been out a year and a half. How have they not wanted to fill in Maui or something with these bigger races? The opportunity is there, but instead they add one into there, and now playing Forza for a while, I'm like, all right, well, I'll just go do all the long races in that game. I'm going to have the Titan, the Gauntlet. If I want to use a different rally car and have a very long race around the map, I get paid for it, a lot of XP. I'm going to have the option to do it. If you don't want to do those, you can then go do longer events that other players have made, which is going to make even more event variety in there. Like, it's kind of obvious when you really do think about it. If you like street races, you're going to have that option. If you like off-roading, it is both going to be there. For me, though, looking at Motorfest, I feel like a lot of the classes just do not have the love they should be getting, and I really wish that would change in the future. Do let me know what y'all think about these long races in Forza Horizon 5. Would you love to see something like this in Motorfest? I feel like everybody is going to be like, yeah, Block, we want that stuff. And the worst part is the opportunity is there for them to do it, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Honestly, it doesn't make a lot of sense.